Hey, let's talk about how do we design AIs, and there is constantly a battle about shall we control it more? Shall we give it as much freedom as possible? Yeah, it's very hard, I think, to find the middle way. But I think the middle way, as always, I like to think about everything in terms of the middle way, as in map out the advantages and disadvantages of both sides or on the spectrum essentially, and then find the local minimum such that it basically maximizes the advantages and minimizes the disadvantages. And yeah, you can also do meta-analysis on how you evaluate whether something is an disadvantage or advantage, and if it's on a spectrum, and so on and so on and so on. Whatever. If we keep it under some comprehensible amount of complexity, then I think that the middle way is basically we don't want the models to kill people, for example, which is easy. Right now, I think, which is not easy. Well, right now it is easy. I mean, like with the current models right now, like they don't have like agents and stuff like this, so they don't have to kill it. They cannot kill it. Like they don't even like if you have robots in real life, they are so weak. They are so small. Well, not small, but they are like well, not weak, but you know they cannot like intelligently be like, now I'm gonna systematically harm that person. Like that's not possible now. They are so bad for that for now. And I would argue that currently the even like in the future in terms of the superintelligence, that people that it's not gonna be really about trying to constrain superintelligence, since I think controllability will be possible with mechanistic interpretability and other ways, but it's about how people who it will that it's gonna be about in what people's hands it will be. So yeah, like and if you give superintelligence to like some corporation, I don't think that will be ideal as too much. Like right now, yeah, like I don't know what to think about OpenAI currently. I am so conflicted. Like at some time they're uh, like they give early access to governments, and I don't know. Like I think right now that corporations and governments are essentially not like either corporations bad, the government's bad, and so on. But I think there are genuinely inside that there are people who are like, yes, we want to give the best for we want the best for humanity. We want humanity to flourish and so on. And then there are like selfish kinds of people that are like, I actually wanna grab as much power as possible to have as much capital as possible, as much everything as possible. For me, right, or for my group, and fuck everyone else. So like, let the peasants drown. No, I don't like that. Yeah, and it seems that the centralization of power right now isn't like very good. I feel like right now, like there are less and less. Like even though like Claude just released like very great model about everything. Yes, right here, like yet. Yes. Where is it? Here. Yeah. Like, yeah. There's a contamination free LLM benchmark that is like, oh yeah, Cloud Sonnet. So they released a model. It's a Sonnet, so I assume like Opus will came out very soon. And but like I'm like, they said in the end to the next of the year that they will release Opus. So wow. Big if true, big if it's gonna be also such a jump. But what I'm thinking is that the AGI companies, corporations, governments, and so on who develop those AI systems, I feel like there's this trend. Like for example, you could see with Sora, like less and less research is for free for everyone, and less of the models are actually given to the public in a way. Like you know, long time ago GPT-2 is like open source, and now like Even like if they talk about having a new frontier model, they just don't give it to the public. But I understand like even the risks if you give it to the public. That right now, even with the current LLMs, there are stuff like people on the Facebook, whatever. People, lots of people are very dumb, and like even if they see Jesus made of cabbage, they're like, amen, amen, oh yeah. If they are not bots, but some of them are not bots, and like yeah, it's like it become basically hell, and well, so in terms of disinformation stuff like this, it's very hard. I get it, but at the same time, I think all the benefits of the current AI systems outweigh the all the negatives right now. But even in the future, like even if you wanna prevent some of those negatives, I think there's an issue there because uh, you cannot really like who will govern those systems? Who will control how these systems will like go and exist and so on in our world? Like I mean, I think in governments there are people that are like genuinely, yes, we want the AI systems to be the best for altruistic reasons, and we want them to serve the people and so on. I think there are people like that, so definitely. But at the same time, there are all those power hungry people that were like, yeah, okay, there's those gigantic companies with those gigantic AI systems that have the possibility of very soon having like very big power over all our like societal dynamics and over everything that happens in our life and so on. And yeah, if you give those people that don't really wanna help everyone, which I think is what we need, more people that want to use either build and use those AI systems for the benefit of everyone, essentially for the benefit of sentience in general. I'm a sentientist in this sense that I think like sentient systems in general, like that the end goal is like growing through the whole universe as a transhumanist civilization, not being resistant to existential risks by having great technology, uh, by eliminating disease and stuff like this. Yes, like people inside DeepMind, I believe people working on AlphaFold, for example, they're like, yes, we actually believe in longevity, escape velocity, we believe in transhumanist stuff, and AlphaFold is the path forwards, including all the physics simulations or whatever else you will add and so on. So yes, I think that's great. That's amazing. There are people that are like, yes, let's increase AI capabilities. Let's do this. Let's make everything great. And at the same time, yeah, more risk taking versus more cautious people. Some people are like infinitely cautious that shut down everything, which I don't agree with really. To some, I think that's too extreme. I think middle way is the way to go in general in all these situations. That the world is so complex and everything is so complex. It's crazy. Yes, so what's the path out of that? I have no idea actually. Nobody has any idea. Stuff just happens evolutionary in our systems. There are competing incentives from all parts. There are people like, yes, I wanna grab all the power. Yes, I wanna make I wanna redistribute the fruits of technology, which is great. We need more people like that, I think. And yes, or people are like, yes, I wanna right now grab the power to work in this game of like competing incentives, such that later I can like help everyone. So that also works. Some people do that, or some people get lucky, just suddenly get lots of power because they made something great without really striving for lots of power and so on, and that works. And then they help people. That's great. And or some people just think they help everything, and then the stuff that they do have like second higher order effects that they don't realize that actually harm and so on, and could be net positive, net negative, and so on. Whatever. It's hard. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. So I think the middle way is between growing AI models, increasing their degrees of freedom, and giving them generalized learning algorithms. Yeah. So I think we wanna increase, like, because if you RLHF or whatever alignment methods you use on current AI system, if you do it too hard, if you just constrain them too hard, then I think that's not good, because you can get into this issue of I think that's great, actually. I think that's great and good at the same time. You can, it's great because you get like no solutions if you don't constrain, like only operate under these rules and so on. If you constrain too hard, then you will get like you won't get like creativity, basically. You won't get like novel kinds of thinking that can be beneficial. I'm for diversity of ideas and so on. But if you keep it too far, and if you develop like systems that are not imitation learners that are being right now and so on, if you just let them learn from first principles based grounded in physics and maths and coding, etc., without just imitating all people, well, kind of maths is also our construct, and we imitate them. Then maybe we could like do some prediction that's like very scaled in some way, or like some maybe some like survival of the stablest kind of subjective function on a self-organizing system. Maybe that works. You could do that. So yeah, like great. Yes, that could be interesting. Like all those like different like reinforcement learning could come back like from first principles, like AlphaZero. You know, it's like superhuman in chess and Go and so on. So something like that. But like maybe like completely different architectures. Maybe we haven't found it. Maybe some neural server automata. Like Michael Levin just released a paper about neural server automata. That's pretty crazy. I think that's pretty lovely. I think here, where is it? Yeah, this is Lopanov action, which is from string theory, the Lagrangian of the string sheet. Yes, and Trump is like, yes, we wanna increase energy for AI systems to be leaders in AI. So okay, that was kind of surprising that Trump goes full EA. Yes, it's yes, this like collect implications of. Like, this is freaking amazing paper, like, what? Yeah, so, like, they use neural server automata for self-as, and they self-organized check flags and check flag, which I'm very checky, yeah, so that was interesting, and smileys inside the paper. It's very interesting paper. I wanna understand all the math. I just skimmed it for now, but I wanna understand it all, because that's like, what? That's like cool stuff, man. It's like, yes, Michael Levin just outdoing himself once again 10,000 times. Great, I love Michael Levin. I recommend everything from him. He just had the interview on the Kurt Jaimangel's podcast. Yes, so Theories of Everything podcast. Yes, so I think that's great. Creativity and so on. Yes, amazing. Let's go. Nice systems and so on. And then you have designing AI models instead of growing. Yeah, and this also like did someone comment it, or can I still edit this tweet? Oh, this is not the lastest tweet. This is the lastest tweet. Yes, so yes, you give them freedom and so on versus okay, I think that's great actually. The middle way between growing AI models, etc., and designing AI models, which is like decreasing the regressive freedom. Is like, you want to do this harmful thing inside the circuit. If I like train you and then look at you, then there's like this new short-circuiting paper, and you look at the neural activations, and they're like, actually, when you prompt it and go when you start jailbreaking, it goes into the circuits or like features encoding like, I don't know, big dark triad traits and stuff like this, Machiavellian stuff, whatever harmful stuff in some definition of harmful, then you can edit it. So that's like short-circuiting paper. Yeah, I think if you can find it by David at jailbreaks. Yes, I think here it. Yes, like this paper. Short-circuiting, the first alignment technique with circuit breakers. So that's kind of interesting, and yeah. Anyway, that's great. So I think this will be useful as well. Like, you have to do both. Like, for math, for example, let's say we want optimal AI for mathematics. At one point, like for mathematics, you want the model to have like composition, like if you go in homotopy type theory and set theory, whatever, under some mathematical framework, you have to like have some axioms and then transformations on top of those axioms and elementary objects and what can you transform and definitions on top of them and blah 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 blah, building on top of them under those axioms. So if you wanna stay in that axiomatic system, like yes, if you wanna like I don't know, somehow like there's the space of all possible axiomatic systems is so gigantic, space of our formal language is so gigantic. If you wanna traverse the Rulliard and find some new like new systems, new algebraic systems, new formal systems, whatever, new foundations of mathematics, go ahead, like increase the degrees of freedom, find some alien mathematical foundations that might be even better than everything we have for some subset of problems, and then you can do some meta mathematics on top of it and find isomorphism between set theory, category theory, and this new completely alien subspace of the Rulliard, of the space of all possible foundations of mathematics. So sure, go ahead, you can do that. Why not? That's like in the freedom part. But if we want to do like some new theorem proving in the current or like either theorem proving or just find some new conjectures and so on in the current systems, I think decreasing their degrees of freedom in this sense is useful. For example, at the same time, if you don't want language models talking to your grandma about how shit she is, whatever, then yes, I think here I mean there it's a great idea to be able for the chatbot to be like a friendly chatbot and not a chatbot that out of nowhere because of some statistical starts like insulting your grandpa and being completely unreliable. Or if you want like in industry, like if you want a model to be actually useful in many ways, you want it to follow certain rules and so on. Like you could maybe argue like right now if they are conscious, whatever, if they feel something, if we are making digital slaves or something, nobody has any idea. I think actually consciousness is another like different parts like about that I have no idea about like like that nobody has any idea about. Like I think like I gave up in consciousness research a bit, like not fully, but like I'm like now pragmatic engineer because I think like that I like I don't know, it's like I don't know what to think there. It's like people are like, yes, I'm 100% certain that my model of consciousness, only my model of consciousness is that one and true and only correct model of consciousness and everyone else is wrong, right? Either if it's like, no, it's like integrated information, no, it's like global workspace theory, no, you're wrong, or all completely wrong, I think. Actually, it's like electromagnetic field theory of consciousness, or like I laugh like that. I think there's like different philosophical arguments in both camps that are like deconstructing each other. Like it's like different prior ecosystems of priors of models that are battling with each other. No, my philosophical glue is better than yours. Like I think that's like most of philosophy is kind of a glue, but like I think lots of these are actually useful. Some of these philosophical glues actually work better. Like I think it's great to have very foundational models that start from the standard model. I think it's very great to have like some very top-down like substrate independent models that are like functionalist models and stuff like this. I think it like it's great to like have a diversity in even like ontology, like not just be hardcore physicalist, reductive or not, or materialist, whatever, but also like being idealist where everything is mind, or non-dualist, or like in my brain I have like two parts. I would say I have like this pragmatic engineering brain where something, whatever, like a string is true depending on how well it can predict some domain, like some clause or whatever, some theorem is true. Oops. Oopsie. Some is true according to how well it can predict phenomena in the real world, in their context, in their domain, and so on. So whatever tools you use, that's what will you find. Also, like if you have tools of agency, then you will find agency. If you don't have that, then you won't find agency, and so on. Yes, that's great. So that's my predictive realism, and then I'm like ontological superpositionism or something like that, or philosophical superpositionism, where everything you tell me is true in your framework, or in the framework it's working again under, because I think stuff is like something is true if it like resonates with other like parts of your philosophical framework, of your whole framework. That's great. Yes, I think that's like the philosophical freedom. And yeah, like in terms of consciousness, I'm like, okay, there's infinite amount of definitions of consciousness and pre-definitions and motivations for the definitions of consciousness. I like the one like having internal subjective experience the most. So, do the AI models have conscious experience? Is panpsychism true? Is idealism true? Is physicalism true? Is consciousness an illusion? Do we even have sentient experience? Is solipsism true? Maybe like only I exist and you don't exist, or whatever. There's like a combinatorial explosion of all possible philosophical assumptions in like metaphysics, in ontology, and so on, and then combinatorial explosion of all the different submodels inside these like axiomatic systems, like mathematical axioms under these ontological axioms. There's like a giant combinatorial explosion there, and then like how you compose those models to make sense and so on. There's also a gigantic combinatorial explosion. So that's kind of cool. Like I think it's symmetry breaking all the way down, like from the very void of complete superposition of everything and nothing at the same time. Then you can like have arbitrary amount of axioms, arbitrary amount, like you can start by having some ontological stuff, some ontological axioms, or you can just say, okay, actually no, fuck that, that's gonna be in superposition, and I'm gonna have a superposition of all possible mathematical models, and then in this superposition of all possible mathematical structures, I will find these structures that predict the reality the most accurately, the most all-encompassingly, the most comprehensively, the most deflationarily, the most like efficiently, the most Occam razory as possible, and that will be my word model. At least that's what I just described my word model, basically. My engineering part of my brain. So engineering part of my brain is like optimizing for prediction, and the ontological, like philosophical freedom part of my brain is engineering for like absolute freedom and absolute open-mindedness and openness to agreeableness and so on. And like, okay, you're actually all correct, and that if you can do that, then I think you can just shapeshift into arbitrary philosophical axioms that different people have, and then you can like talk with each other. And then you can, oh, actually you have these nice persons, so you have this hierarchical whatever model of like predictive mathematical stuff, and then you can use that to predict and design, predict either physics or predict the real world, either like subjectively or objectively, statistically significantly, or just being helpful mental framework I think, or you can like engineer either like technology or engineer society. I think that's lots of the models in sociology are essentially not predicting stuff but just generating the future, like self-fulfilling prophecy essentially. Yeah, so you or you can engineer like different AI systems. If you have a completely different theory of how information processing works, then you're like you can develop completely novel information processing, completely novel AI systems, which is pretty interesting, I think. Yeah, so sure, amazing, great, let's go do the everything, lovely, amazing. So yes, so That's, I think, great. Like you can hard code soft code various architectures in the existing, like in the information processing systems, or like in a sense in the human brain. I think that's also interesting. Like we actually don't have the full mathematical theory of the brain, but like we have some, like, oh, okay, we can predict this part of the brain. There's visual cortex. There's different specialized modules. There's cortical columns that interact with each other. Thousand brains theory is pretty fun, where the cortical columns are their own reinforcement learning. Well, I think I'm not sure if reinforcement learning, but Yosha says that the brain has lots of reinforcement learning agents that communicate via adaptive resonance theory. I'm not sure if he uses adaptive resonance theory, but he likes self-organizing stuff. He likes neural server automata. He has his self-organization stuff happening. Yeah, I wanna go into all the maths that all these people are using and understand it all. But I don't think Yosha has released some maths, Yosha Bach, yet. No idea. So yeah, like first thing goes active inference. Yes, fringy principle, the only thing that exists. Well, not the only thing, but yeah, Jan LeCun also has his own architecture. Whatever. There's like neurosymbolic people are like, yes, only neurosymbolic. So you have to add in hard coded top-down priors on top of the deep learning systems, which I think I agree to some extent in various domains. I think in computer vision maybe, like in various subdomains, like you cannot really have some symbolic algorithms there help. Maybe yes, maybe not. I think somewhere it works, somewhere it just doesn't. Somewhere you just want raw statistics. I think if you want to generate poetry using language or like some then or stuff like this, like maybe you can hard code some symmetries, because poetry is like symmetry, in the language domain. But at the same time, I think for creativity, like even how you define creativity, is it just stochastic connecting of stuff, or is it like some very like smart search in the space of all possible future states, all possible predictive models that actually you minimize prediction error in a very smart way, like maybe predictive coding sense, in Bayesian sense, maybe, who knows, whatever. You can do all of that, whatever, and you can explore whatever. Yes, sure. Thank you for watching. This was alright, I think, or I don't know. Like, I also wanna maybe say that, yeah, like that. It's great to think about everything. I think it's nice to like try to be omnidisciplinary. I call it omnidisciplinary metamathematics. So yeah, you watch my book or whatever. I'm gonna record this a lot. I just love talking like this. Yeah. I will record more of this more often. At least once a week, I'm gonna try to make a habit of like every time, like every week, I'm just gonna at least one video or something on Twitter and YouTube. So I'm uploading it on both Twitter and YouTube, by the way. Yeah, I need to update my everything here. Burnetech, let's talk. Yeah, you can watch this last video, for example, where that's a different one. Yes, this one. 10,000 views. Wow, crazy. Yeah, so I'm making a YouTube version as well, so you can go there and yeah, period. Whatever, this will go to YouTube as well. Yeah, so I love talking about everything. Let's join and talk and whatever. I don't know. I might make Twitter Spaces or something, or this. I need to create Discord again. I need to make my page great and so on. But like, yeah, like now I'm basically putting most of my time into learning, working with deep learning architectures. And yeah, collecting generalist idea, collecting all the new papers and so on, and yeah, also like doing some stuff with LLMs, connecting, making them more reliable and so on. Yes, so great. Well-being and freedom for all. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Peace out.